Hey everyone, this is Chris Dunkel. In this episode, what we want to look at is adding text to your videos. Oftentimes you might want to overlay, or you need a title at the beginning or credits at the end. And so in this situation, I've downloaded a video here. Remember that the videos work in layers, so you can add text over the top of something if you want, or you can add it before and after. Now, the way that we get to our text, we come up here to the tabs. Now, this left tab is our media tab, so it's showing us all the things we've imported. But the text to the tab, to the right of it is the text tab. Now, they've just come out with a new feature recently with motion titles. So I'm going to click Get Started here. And you'll notice I've got three different folders here. So the first folder is motion titles. If I click on it, it's going to give me a preview of what it does over here. And there's some really cool little kind of animated graphics that kind of jazz up whatever you want. You scroll down, you'll see there's quite a few that they have. You may see some that say lower thirds. These are really good to use if you want it over the top of something. So like in a news broadcast, they may have something at the bottom third of it, or in a sporting event or things like that. So if you want to add it, you can simply drag it down to wherever you want. Now, in this case, as you recall, we can layer over the top. So I'm going to stick it just right here, just for the example. And this may not be a great place to leave it because it's yellow over yellow. So let me get over the blue here. All right. So when I click play, we're going to see, or I can just drag along here. We can see the animation that's going on over the top. So here's our lower third over the top of my video. Now, to edit the text, as you might imagine from some of the earlier videos, how we edit things, we're just going to double click on it. And when you double click on it, you've got a color palette for the different colors that you could use in the text. You can add your text. So I'll just say practice. Practice up here. This primary text. In this case, secondary text is going to be down here. So I'll just use text. You can change your fonts that you want to use. You can change as far as the size of it, the font size, in this case, 110 and 78. If you come over here, you also have some scaling options. You can make it a little bit bigger. You could, maybe you want to move it a little bit farther over. Typically, you don't do a lot with transforming what they've already created, but you can do it. So I'm going to click Done. And so in this case, we've added overlay text that comes over the top. Now, you might have a title, for instance, and you'll see some that are labeled title. This is a real popular one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one in front of my video. Now, there's different ways you could do it. You could do these on different video tracks, or you could do it on the same track. If I bring it and set it on top of my video here, it's going to ask me an option of what I want to do. And in this case, what I want to do is insert and push. In other words, I'm going to insert it here, and I'm going to push the video clip that was there to the right. So I'm going to say insert and push. So now what it's done is it's added my title track in front of my other video. So if I come back here on the timeline, I could play, we'll see our title track, and then it's going to hit the video and actually start the video. So same kind of thing works as well for credits at the end that you might want to add. So let's look at credits. So it's not going to need to push because you're going to add it to the end over here. So that's motion titles. If you come to static titles, you'll see things like in credits. Okay. These are just, again, they're static. They're not going to move. I'm going to drag in credits down here. And you'll notice when I drag that, it gives me like directed by and so forth. So if I double click, I can come in here and I can really add, quite a bit here. Here's one thing I want to note though. If you go into the end credits like this, you're just going to have a static credit, which is fine. It's perfectly fine to come here at the end. I'm going to hit play and then just have that pop up. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. You can go with that. You could have it fade in and fade out with your fade options tool right here. But I want to show you something else that you can do, which is kind of neat. If I come in to edit my credits, I have another tab here for my animation. So, of course, you can scale. You can start and finish. So one thing I could do is I could do start and then come over here and grab my text, and I can move it down. Now, as I move it, you're going to notice the X and Y coordinates over here are going to change. And it's just like in math, X is going to be left to right, Y is going to be vertical, so X is horizontal, Y is vertical. So let's say I want to bring it down there and I'm come to end and I'm move it up there. And if you really want to precisely do it, pay attention to your XY values and you can make sure you're on the same plane as you're going up. But what I can do is I can come back here to start. I can click play and you'll see now it scrolls up just like it does in the movies. So that's a simple way to get kind of a normal looking credit at the end. So I'm going to click done and add that to the end. Annotations here at the end is also helpful because you can put some annotations as overlays here over the top of what's going on. I can double click on it. I'll go to my transform tool here. And this is very much like PowerPoint. You can resize it, however you need. You can move that guy around. I can't seem to grab him quite at the moment. There we go. And you also have options with changing colors and backgrounds and your text that's in there and so forth. So that's another helpful thing just to know. So those are all your text options. Again, it's under the text tab, which is to the right of the media tab. And just whenever you see these folders on the left, definitely explore those because there's oftentimes students will get in and they think all they have is just here, what's on the screen. But if they'll start clicking on the folders, they'll realize there's a lot more to it. So hopefully that's helpful when you're adding titles and overlays and credits. If you have any questions, as always, don't be afraid to ask.